Sometimes ordinary photographs can hide frightening secrets, smiles, carefree looks, familiar scenes from life. But what if behind these frames there are stories that make your blood run cold? Today, we'll tell you about 10 photographs that at first glance seem ordinary, but their stories will forever change your perception of reality. Three teenage girls decided to take a selfie standing on the tracks next to a passing train and were so carried away that they did not notice a second train approaching them from the other direction. In the upper right corner of the photo, you can see the light of its headlights. All three, the Webster sisters and their friend, died. This violin belonged to Wallace Hartley, the violinist and band leader of the Titanic. It was the instrument he was playing when the ship sank. Survivors reported seeing Hartley and his band on the deck of the ship as the ship sank, playing to calm the passengers as they tried to get into the lifeboats. Hartley and the rest of the musicians died when the ship sank. At some point before his death, Hartley managed to put his violin back in its case, and his body was found in the water with it. The violin had an engraving that helped identify it, and it was returned to Hartley's fiancée, who kept it until her death. Her family authenticated the instrument and sold it for $1.6 million to an organization collecting Titanic artifacts. Serial killer John Edward Robinson, in yellow sweater, holds baby Tiffany Stassi, whose mother he killed the day before, on his lap. He later gave baby Tiffany to his brother, saying she was adopted. His brother and Tiffany only learned the truth 15 years later. Only 8 of Robinson's victims have been identified so far, and he has been on death row since 2000. 13 hours after this photograph was taken, on May 18, 1980, the volcano erupted, killing 57 people, including the man in the photo, American volcanologist David A. Johnston. This is a photo of the survivors of the Uruguayan Air Force Flight 571 crash in the Andes. They were eventually rescued, but had to resort to cannibalism to survive. They are smiling in the photo, but the human spine to their right is enough to make you feel uneasy. First Lady Rosalind Carter shook hands with serial killer John Wayne Gacy in 1978, who was then an active politician. By then, he had already killed more than 20 young men. He wore an S pinned to his lapel, which the Secret Service had given him to indicate that he had passed security. The photo was even captioned, "With best wishes to John Gacy, Rosalind Carter." 2 trails in the snow. This photo was taken by Kurt Demberger after his companion, the distinguished mountaineer Hermann Buhl, fell into an abyss on the Himalayan mountain Chogolisa. Buhl was following Dimberger and momentarily stepped off the trail, causing a block of ice to collapse under his feet. His body was never found. A guy dove into his girlfriend's underwater hotel room in Tanzania and proposed to her with a note and a ring. He died before he could reach the surface. The note read, "I can't hold my breath long enough to list all the things I love about you, but everything I love about you, I love more every day." Juana Barraza, former luchador and serial killer. Her mother sold her to a stranger for 3 bottles of beer when she was 12. Her stepfather didn't find her until 5 years later. She ingratiated herself with old women who reminded her of her mother by pretending to work for the government and strangling them. Serial killer Christopher Wilder is photographed at the 17 Magazine fashion show at a mall in Las Vegas on April 1st, 1984. Wilder kidnapped and murdered 17-year-old Michelle Korfman, whom he met at the fashion show, pictured in the foreground. A teenager went missing while hiking on the Big Island of Hawaii. He sent his family several photos of the landscape while he was out walking. When he didn't return home, his family noticed that the photos he sent showed someone hiding in the bushes. Subscribe to the channel and like it.